Motherfucker, hit that intro.
It's cold, but the fire ain't out. Jake and the crew ain't a whisper or doubt. WrestleMania, blood and pride collide. Glory falls and history's tied to somewhere where shadows clash. Voices loud, predictions flash. Cena road fists break the air. A desert storm they cannot share.
What's going on, ladies and gents? That's right, it's the one, it's the only Jake, aka Countdown Ended, coming to you live for WrestleMania week into somewhere, Mania week edition. I won't be here alone. I am joined by the one, the only, the amazing DJ Anime. Liz is in the house as well. Glad to have her here. Hopefully everybody is doing and feeling well today. It's been a hell of a day, but wow, was this an amazing show. I got to be honest with you. Even after SmackDown last night, like I was hyped, it's Mania Day, but I wasn't pumped. This show got me going, put some more of that in my veins. Let's do this. I am ready. Liz, how are you, my friend?
I'm great. How are you?
I am fantastic. I am thankful to have you here. I'm sorry my buddy Patrick got sick. He was going to be here in person, and I couldn't exactly work out how to do the audio without having everybody just be a mile away. So this works out perfect. We got some special guests joining tonight. We got our day tomorrow. It's going to be great. Night 1, night 2, but Stand and Deliver was fantastic. This was... wow, this was WrestleMania caliber weekend. Everything I wanted, I got. I could not be more happy. And I mean, Obafemi, wow, he looked like a total beast.
I talked to all the people that got up at 9 o'clock in the morning to go watch a wrestling show.
I know, right? These people had to be there for the talent since 5 a.m., which is insane to me.
That's
that they had to go and be there that early.
Especially especially if they went to the Hall of Fame last night.
Here we go. Exactly, because that didn't even start till 1 a.m. our time. I've still yet to finish the Hall of Fame. I've got myself in there.
I haven't watched all the Hall of Fame yet. I tried to stay up to watch some of it. I was like, I can't do it. I got to go to bed.
I had to be Uncle Jake today, and then trying to manage everything else as much as I could. I only had so much time. Unfortunately, I let people know I wasn't able to do the TNA show the other day. My daughter got really sick. She had some bad reactions, and they had to put her on some new meds.
She's doing better.
She's doing okay. So she's prom dress shopping. I'm not. That's the current. But at least she's hanging in there. That's what matters at this point. Like I said, a hell of a day. I was totally shocked by a couple of them, but everything pretty much went as we thought it would. It really had a foregone conclusion feel. I think the tag match would be the only kind of wild card. And we had said, too, it seems like it's Fraxium's time to get called up, but... shout out to everybody in the chat. It is time. It is time indeed. We got JCP, we got you, we got everybody hanging out. Thank you all for subscribing, hitting that like button. It's incredible. We're at 3,860 subs. Just on Sunday, I hit 3K. So
look at you.
we're flying through here. So, and I will have Liz's information for her Twitch in the description box down below. You can go ahead and give her a follow. She's forever on the climb to hitting 1,000 over there. So we want to make sure she gets there.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. That's for sure. Quick off the cuff questions for you. What did you think of SmackDown? We're going to get into NXT in a minute, but
well, I'll tell you one thing. SmackDown was I will say one thing, that TLC tag match should be on Mania and not next week, but that's just what I thought.
I would have had that match be on the card as well. Next week, we've got the Street Profits, the Motor City Machine Guns, and DIY in a triple threat TLC match. I mean, TLC, it's synonymous with WrestleMania. That's what made it infamous.
When they announced that, the crowd, you could tell the crowd was not happy about that either.
No,
So
no, because you said to me, you're like, just wait, because I was like, oh, DIY stole the titles, huh? And you're like, oh,
yeah,
just wait, just you wait.
no,
And
just wait till after that.
yeah, I was like, oh,
No, the
what a
SmackDown
crap
last night,
finish.
I was watching that. I was like, going, really? You're gonna put that on next week's show when you have Mania coming up this week? Yeah, I'm like, boy, you guys are.
You know how it is.
Ugh.
It's yeah. The main roster, they've been chugging along. I think what killed most of this build was just the amount of time. Them being overseas. I mean, you had the biggest heel turn in at least 2 decades, if you don't want to say maybe even 3, you know, close enough.
Yep.
Hogan's was what, 96, so 29 years ago.
96, yeah.
Even if you don't say it eclipsed Hogan, it still went ahead and was monumental because it transcended the wrestling industry. People were going insane everywhere. Social media, in person, could not believe that their former childhood hero or the guy they've watched in movies or any of it
Yeah.
finally turned heel when he's been so, he decried how adamant he was that any reaction is a good reaction. If you're chanting, you can't wrestle, you're still chanting. So John, he turns and it's amazing, but then they didn't follow up on it for weeks.
Nope.
For weeks. And then when they did, it was Cody talking to Belts and basically trying to pump the audience up. They finally got the face to face.
Cody pretty much had to carry everything because
Yeah.
Cena didn't want to show up. So, and neither did The Rock apparently. So
That's the thing I'm most baffled by. Out of everything, I do not understand why. If The Rock comes out tonight at Mania, it's like, well, what? You just, or tomorrow night, excuse me. It's like, what? You waited just to be there for the big, you know, grand entrance and.
yeah, exactly. And everybody's like, well, Cena's going to win. Cena's going to win. I was like, well, yeah, well, okay, Cena's going to win, but you know, we still don't know why The Rock. Where's The Rock? Where's he been? Nowhere.
Yeah, nowhere. Fucking nowhere. And that's the huge problem here because The Rock is a huge component of this. He's the catalyst to John turning heel. They brought it up.
Exactly.
So they did mention it briefly. They said, oh, this is what happened. And The Rock gave you a choice. He gave you a chance. He tried to offer you an opportunity and you did it for these people. And they're booing you actively right now. And it was crazy to see Cody get booed at all.
The crazy crowd last night. I was sitting here watching this. I was going, man, the crowd is either really out of it or they really stupid. Why are you booing Cody? And all of a sudden, Cody turns them all back around. I'm just like, well, there you go. Never mind.
Now, you've known from moment one, I wanted Cody Rhodes to win. But I've picked Cena only because of the way it felt. But after last night's promo, they eviscerated Cody hard for a long time. You're just a kid. You suck. You know, like they really, really pushed him down. So I'm a bit concerned if he does lose tomorrow. Does this hurt him worse than we feared? I mean, the comeback story is always the best part. But I am a bit trepidatious.
Comeback story. He don't need it.
That's the thing. I don't know if he's losing anymore. I think Cody might retain. I mean, it's wild from.
That's the thing. See, that's what I see. What I want Cena to lose so he can do his little comeback story.
To build himself back up and then finally get the win. And I think that works great too. It would be shocking to have Cena beat Cody. I mean, imagine if they did it clean, no BS involved. And John goes for the AA, but Cody hits him with the crossroads last night, lays John out again, which really sadly makes you feel like, oh, goodness gracious, great balls of fire. John's in trouble here because, oh no, he got put out again. That means Cody's in trouble with wrestling logic. And some of the booking things are crazy as is, but I don't
know what they got planned, but I'm just like, well, I don't know what they're doing, but you haven't seen Travis Scott, you haven't seen The Rock, so I'm just kind of like, okay, well, where are the rest of these people?
I know, and it's like you said, it's baffling. I'm a bit I can't fathom. I'm too confused to really even break down the fact of like, why did it happen this way? So one thing that didn't happen though.
I mean, Cody wants to. Travis Scott needs to get his receipt from Cody. So I mean, that's all I gotta say.
He better be able to whoop some ass. I want to see him, really go ahead and knock him down one or two pegs. Isn't he playing the head stage at Coachella too? I think next weekend. So There's
Probably.
always that.
Yeah.
I know he's busy, so we might not even see him at Mania, which
I
again
don't
would
know.
be.
Apparently, somebody said he was supposed to be there this weekend, so who knows?
I had heard both. So I heard he was doing performances at Coachella and being at the After Dark parties.
Well, what I
So
want to know is what the next question is: who's Randy Orton gonna face
yeah,
this
no,
weekend?
I hope it's Nick Aldis. It doesn't seem like it's solo because they had Braun come out to be the tag partner for
No,
LA
it
Knight.
ain't gonna be solo.
I
Thank
think,
God.
and I don't think it's going to be a surprise. I don't think it's going to be Aleister Black. I don't think that it's going to be anyone we're expecting in this. I think it's Nick Aldis. I think
Well,
they're
it's
going to
not
give that
Aleister
to us.
Black because Aleister Black's coming back next Friday because
Yes.
it's already been teased.
Yeah, they
so.
showed the date and everything. So, like I had said, it's in April, 4 weeks away. The countdown was happening. But we still saw it. Now we see the date. So that is interesting. We have the mystery reveal on the 25th of April.
Oh, there's so many people on the line that are saying it's going to be this person, it's going to be this person. And I'm just like, oh.
I'm telling you,
Somebody said it could be Rusev. I was like, well, yeah, possibly.
that would be crazy. If they were, but I don't think they're going to give us any debut surprise. I really think so. What's going on, CS in the chat? That would pop the shit out of me. I am a gigantic Joe Hendry fan, and
His name and
because he is in Vegas.
I would love to see him enter and have a moment with Randy Orton. Oh my God, that would mean, and especially he's a TNA champ, so it fits. It's like, let's see this happen. What are you doing? Let's go, bud. Full steam ahead. I mean, it is nuts. It is nuts, and there's so many possibilities.
I don't know who it's gonna be. It might be Nick Aldis for all we know. So
I really think it's going to be Aldis. I believe that's what they're headed to. And that's what they want to give us, and Aldis is going to be the one. I mean, they got the RKO again, and he had the money to go ahead and cover that fine. So fun to see that.
Yeah, he took care of that like a year ago.
Exactly.
So ago.
You and I had some crazy predictions. Unfortunately, we didn't get to meet with Danny being sick, but we're kind of making up for lost time now. We headed directly into Mania thinking a lot of things. We thought there was going to be a multi-man ladder match for the U.S. title and a bigger six-man match for the one. No, not the U.S. title, the Intercontinental title. Yeah.
We had like a multi-man tag team ladder match.
Yeah.
Which obviously is not going to happen because
no,
we're going to
but
have the New Day and the War Raiders instead. I'm like, oh, okay.
That just doesn't interest me. The few things I am really looking forward to is LA Knight and Jacob Fatu. A lot of people are thinking he's retaining. It could happen, but I don't know. I'm not necessarily sure. I think Jacob might get the title.
Involved in that.
Yeah, that could be where they turn on each other. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities tonight, and what I'm enjoying, usually WrestleMania is capping off or ending feuds. A lot of this is like, only the fifth or sixth inning, maybe the seventh inning stretch because we've been going for a bit. But realistically, I mean, how could you not say that, a lot of this tells to what's going forward? If the New Day do get it, then you got, them going for a run with the heel titles, and you got a lot of fun faces that could come up and be challengers. Jay Uso.
Hello.
That was going to be my point, and we'll talk about them shortly from the amazing NXT Stand and Deliver that was held today, obviously April 19th. My name is Jake. This is Liz, and we're going to be breaking down everything that happened from Stand and Deliver. They aired on Peacock and Netflix internationally from the Las Vegas, Nevada T-Mobile Arena. They'll be in Allegiant Stadium tonight, but the arena looked great. I will say this, even for SmackDown, WWE, one of my favorite things about wrestling as a kid was when they got into the gigantic sets, the memorable setups. I think back to like Armageddon and the hooks, and I think, like that kind of, or was it Backlash, whichever, but they had all of these elaborate stages for every pay-per-view, and Raw and SmackDown each had their unique identities. Raw had the Sidetron, SmackDown, the Oval, the Fist, etc. I loved it so much, I said fist me. I like stages. I like the grandiose WrestleMania stage. Looks fucking nuts. It looks so good.
I was like, good Lord.
You know what really got me was the fact that the ring looked, I mean, it's always going to be just 20 feet by 20 feet, but it looked like an ant in comparison to everything else that we had seen. I
was like, I watched the Pat McAfee show yesterday because they had all the people on, and all that. But yeah, he got to do the big reveal, and I was just like, Dang, that thing is huge.
Yes, and the stage looks great, but on top of it, also, as I mentioned too, it's just like it feels gigantic. It feels very big because you got the ring, you've got that cool square Tron above it, and then over that you have like the whole ramp that is all the way lit up and going. Zelina Vega's been getting a push, so I really think that's because of Aleister Black coming back. Like that's they're only using her for that, but that's like their intended purpose. And you know, I'm laughing at myself over here. I was very pumped for the tag team match outcome, as you know. So, but yeah, all in all, we got a damn good show today, and I think SmackDown has a lot building up for itself. It was, I will say this too, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal set up for a lot of feuds, had fun story moments, a lot of great like competition in it as well. Phoenix looked fantastic, even though he didn't win. And on top of it, we got to see, you know, more of a cheering, raucous noise for Karrion Kross. He even posted on Twitter, like, I heard you, my time is coming with the hourglass. When they do let the leash off of that, that's going to be something special.
Well, I mean, I hope Rey Mysterio's okay. It looked like he got hurt last night, so.
Yeah, I know, terrible as that is. And, you know, Seth Negan even said, if WWE decides to put Zelina Vega with her husband, I would repackage her as the witchy woman based off the classic Eagles song. Ooh, witchy woman. Yeah. That would be fan. That's a great.
Well, I mean, Selena
needs to get into booking so bad.
You know, Zelina Vega beat Chelsea Green last night, so.
Yeah, and that was the huge push surprise, unexpected.
I was just like,
And like I said, shout out to CS in the chat. I can't type with my.
The kickoff show. Oh, they're showing video packages.
It's going to be. There's no matches scheduled, so it's just 3 hours of this is what's to come.
I don't get this. It's like let's have a 3-hour kickoff show of what? Are y'all talking for 3 hours about?
Yeah, exactly. So, granted, but they started off on the kickoff show here with some usual fluff and interviews. They replayed a sit-down interview with Jordan and Sarah from the other day. Yeah. Like they took a longer form of that package that we had. And
I wasn't expecting a match in the kickoff show though today. I was like, oh, they're doing a match? Okay.
Yeah, it was something they announced last moment, and it was more than welcome. They really did a great job there, I feel like. And the things that they added to was a lot of fun.
I was busy cleaning my kitchen up. And I was like, all I heard on the TV was, oh, we're going to have a match. I was like, what?
Yes, indeed. Oh, Sith, I mean it. Sith needs to be in the worst way in the creative or marketing, or he comes up with these. I have his email over here, but he had like 4 to 5 different scenarios for each one of his scenarios. Like if Cena wins, there's like 1, 2, 3, and then 1A, 2A, 3A, 3B. Like he had different branches. It was such a well put together spider web.
That's more than what I could come up with.
Like I said, I was truly astounded, and it's not just because oh, he's a good guy, I love to comment. No, this like a lot of these things, I was like, holy shit, I didn't even consider that. He touched on some really old history and. Ton of fun, so I give him a ton of credit, but so many possibilities. And even though a lot of the matches, like I said, they had that foregone conclusion outcome, but it didn't have that feel this time. You knew in your heart, like, all right, this person's winning, but in your soul, you were rooting for somebody. And there wasn't a lot of points in time where the crowd really had heels to boo. Even with Dark State, they were kind of getting behind because, like, Sugar's being such a... I thought Thea Hale was crack cocaine in a can. Jesus.
Oh God, Thea Hale, she can't. I was like, man, what is she on?
She, like I said the other day, that little bolt of crack cocaine lightning. She always doing the, the pump up on the ropes like the warrior. Sol Ruka, obviously the MVP. Fans had her picked out of everybody. She was like at 25 or 30% chance from the fans to win the match. So really cool that they had that.
That's who I picked to win was Sol. I was like, yep, I'm going with her.
Right away, we started with the Metaphor Girls, Lash legend Jakara Jackson taking on JC Jane and Fallon Henley with Jasmine Nix, but not in the match, obviously. We had Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley with an awesome bit of news here, a returning Shotzi Blackheart. So cool.
Yeah.
And then we got to see Cora Jade, Roxanne Perez. They have reunited, so it was interesting seeing them being a unified team for a few minutes.
Yeah, they didn't last long.
Didn't last long at all, but it was a great story. It was a lot of fun. So that was cool.
I was kind of like, what was the point of you wanted to do something and then you just walk out? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the story they're going with, but I kind of liked my own idea better just because I want to see them get called up and in such a weird fact. I mean, they could have a match against each other Tuesday and have that final blow off and send them packing, but they've done this weird stop-start with her that's been awkward, to say.
Very awkward.
Because she's been an important person, and then nothing. They forget about her.
She had a thing going with Bailey, and then they totally just.
She was a big participant in the chamber, and then all of a sudden it's like nothing since she's just been on NXT. So a bit confusing. And then we also had, as we mentioned, Cora and Roxanne being the last team. For some reason in my brain, I knew Sol and Zarya were in the ladder match, but I had myself thinking that they were in this match. So I'm waiting for them to come out, and I'm like, I'm an idiot. Too much booking, but they start off, and we got this really cool. So Lash did this sunset flip right off of Perez that looked great. It was pretty much your standard tag team match for a kickoff. You got the crowd really getting into it, chanting when all the teams were in the ring together, a big let them fight, and the fans were not disappointed. They got what they wanted. These people beat the shit out of each other. It was great to see so many women represented too.
Yeah, a lot of women.
A lot. So right away, Roxanne and Cora, they eliminate the Meta Girls at about like the 7-ish minute mark. My notes get more detailed as I go along, don't worry. But JC then gets a really quick roll up on Perez. Thought that was going to be it, but it's a 2 count. And, we basically saw Jade get hit with a neck breaker by JC. So Roxanne goes ahead. She comes back and she tries to get the pin, but they use a double pin on her. And Cora gets eliminated because Roxanne was like, peace, I'm out of here. I'm not going to help you anymore. She just took off and left Cora to fend for herself. So... And it was funny because Cora was on Twitter defending her, saying, beforehand saying like, oh, anybody that says, we can't be friends again and work together, you're ridiculous. We're hunting for gold. And this is the only one I didn't get the prediction right of. I was hoping these two won. And I thought it would be who we got with Gigi and Tatum, but I liked the match as well. I just wish... I think it could have been better served if Roxanne and Cora won. Again, I'm a fan. I'm not a critic. I'm just saying personally, I think there could have been something with that, but I'll be patient and see what they do. I just don't want them to pull another Carmelo or, there's been people called up and they're supposed to be a big deal, and then you have to wait a whole year before they get anything.
Right. Yeah.
Sadly, so.
The kickoff match, I missed the whole, the beginning of it because I was, busy. I was like, oh, there's a match going on. I need to watch this.
Yeah, there was a lot happening, but basically, they had a cool moment. So after Cora got pinned, they had Gigi and Tatum. Sorry, my allergies are acting up terrible. It's awful. Now we finally got nice weather.
Yeah, I know that feeling all too well.
I'm not going to complain as much as I want to. Nobody wants to hear me, bitch, but... This week it has snowed, it has flooded, we've had a heat wave, and then we had freezing temps and frost.
Boy, you know what? Your weather sounds like the weather we get down here where I live, because Tennessee weather down here can do that same. Well, not the snow part, but it can go from
literally Monday night it was snowing. It was like 2 a.m, so I'm telling you, but
it's what is it? It's like almost it's 80 something degrees, 85 degrees here right now.
Yeah, so. It's about that here too. That's part of the reason my buddy Patrick, and hopefully he's feeling a little bit better, was not doing so well. It's 84 here now. He got a heat stroke basically being at work.
And then of course next week it's supposed to get probably get cold again. So
Yeah, exactly. Up until that point, and when it happens, it happens. So. Yeah, I'm done with the frost. So thankfully, we had a good back and forth match. They got her in the freaky position, and they were making a joke on commentary. I didn't hear the whole line, but Vic was like, "Oh, it's basically a Sabrina Carpenter's threesome pose." So Tatum and Gigi are still locking her in the freaky position, and it was popping Booker, that's for sure. Early on, he was excited already.
I like it. Oh, yeah.
But Shotzi, they're like, oh, she's a terrible friend because they let Nyx interfere and she didn't help her partners. But that's exactly when Gigi and Tatum hit Henley with the cemetery drive. They got the dual finisher, and about 13 minutes total, they are now the #1 contenders. So this upcoming Tuesday, live from Vegas again, they're going to go ahead. I think that's the Fontainebleau Hotel where everything else has been. They are going to go ahead and have a women's tag team title match. Gigi and Tatum are going to be taking on whoever wins.
They did the Hall of Fame. They did the Hall of Fame at that hotel
Yes,
last night. So.
it looked very good. Like I said, for the little bit I did get to see of it, it was a great look. And
I saw the red. I watched the red carpet stuff, and then I was like, okay, I'll watch the beginning, and that was when they did the Lex Luger. Yeah, Lex Luger was first, and I was like, well, cool. I wanted to see that one anyways, so that's the one I saw, and then I was like, okay, I got to go to bed.
I don't blame you. I, at that point, had to be up. I was up that Friday morning at 5 a.m. Had to go and get all my meds all sorted by the time I had gotten all that done. And then I had to still cook. I made a big ham. We had our dinner for...
Yeah. Well, I had stuff to do this morning because I got a friend coming up from Atlanta. He's on his way up here now, supposedly.
That's great.
So he's coming up tonight to watch Mania, and I was like, I gotta go to bed because I have to get up in the morning. I got stuff to do.
Coots agreeing. Poor nose don't know what to do no more. Yeah, like I said, my company too changed. That's why I asked if the audio was good, because initially it was going to be all coming through the speakers, not the headphones. But I switched up that rigmarole. I've actually got some things to work on the fly now. I'm learning. I was never taught, and I certainly wasn't able to not pick up on trends. So I'm getting through the growing pains, but we're getting there, and it's progressing. I'm looking forward to Tuesday night. I know they had to save some stuff off of, these cards for the upcoming week shows, Raw, SmackDown, NXT.
Yeah.
But like you said, I really wouldn't have had that tag title TLC be on Friday night SmackDown. That should have been, that even could have been a kickoff show tonight or tomorrow, because you have 3 hours. I wouldn't want to see it be a kickoff, but like really, if you didn't have time on the main card, they could fit that somewhere. These guys earned it, especially with what they did to rehab the tag division, DIY, and then adding, the machine guns has been great. They've gotten amazing reactions and putting on some of the best tag matches in SmackDown for the last almost decade. I mean, they've had some really interesting results so far, and now the Street Profits look like total beasts. It's been fun to see, the advancement. So not having them featured at all is just, it's unfortunate. But I'll tell you what wasn't unfortunate. We benefit from the Tony Fumble. We got the Tony Fumble Rumble starting off the show hot.
Yeah, the Tony Fumble match.
Exactly. I did not anticipate this to open. I thought it was going to be the women's North American title, but that was not the case. They surprised us and started this way. Great way to start the show, though. Of course, they had the at the very bottom the decibel meter for volume to see how loud the fans were chanting, and the loudest I saw was 125 decibels for Tricks, the whoop that trick with the audience.
Oh, yeah, man.
Going nuts.
Just imagine how that'll be tonight when Jey Uso comes out.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I'm guessing that's going to go berserk. People are going to go nuts there, and how could you not be excited for it? Honestly, they proved that he's more than just an entrance. Bring on the yeet. Milo Yeating. He was very happy. That's his favorite. He's big into, obviously, Jey Uso, and he wants to see him win the title. So he wants to see him beat Gunther. Milo, that's all you want. He's sleeping now, but the kids wore him out. He was busy chasing bubbles. So who also got wore out in this match was Ricky Saints. Jesus, there was a few points in time. So Ethan Page comes out. They give their nice little introduction, and we go right after it. Ricky just goes and basically goes to ringside, and he gets the upper hand, and he's just hitting it with one strike after another. And they're quickly just trading sharp, quick, fast strikes. And Ricky hits Page with a big enziguri. And then you saw him do the little cool catwalk, Undertaker's old school. Did a big little, he's taunting to the crowd. And that's when Page is able to get up and he hits him with a Dominator on the apron, trying to stagger him. And unfortunately, it was just one big boot after another. There was one point where Ricky was on the apron and he got just completely yeeted, all the way to the
Yep.
announce table, bounced off of it, and ended up falling to the floor. You're
Yeah.
gonna feel that tomorrow. That is gonna make you sore.
Yeah, that'll be felt tomorrow.
Absolutely. Like that was
I
insane.
watched it. I
So
was like going. I was like, ah.
after he did the whole big crash and burn scenario, I will say too, commentary did a great job. Like Vic saying, "Oh, he's holding his knee. He landed on his back." Like they're painting the picture that he's fighting from underneath. And finally, when they get back on the inside, Page sets him up for the Ego's Edge, but he gets out of it and he ends up getting up and hit him with a tornado DDT himself. And they had this like great reversal moment. So that's when you hear all the Tony fumbled chants coming out. And, you know, we saw Ego get up and he hits Saint with a big power slam. And as we keep hearing, this is awesome. Saints gets up. He's able to get a little bit of energy through. He gets to the top rope and his lower back is just killing him. He's selling it. He can't do it. He can't do it. God damn it. So he's struggling and he's trying, but that's when all of a sudden Ethan Page catches him and gets him with a single leg code breaker. And I thought that was going to be it. And it was like 2 9/10 right there. So close. Milo, buddy. Come here. Come say hi to the stream. So he's not a happy camper, but the Saints, man, he powered through. And after this, he gets a single leg code breaker. Then Page picks him up and he hits him with the Ego's Edge, obviously the Razor's Edge. And I'm like, oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Here comes the 1, 2, 3. Again, gets out. He powers up and he lets the crowd hype him. He hits the Rochambeau. 1, 2, 3. Ricky Saints defeats all Ego Ethan Page for to retain his North American Championship. Love this match. Can't state it enough. I like the crowd interaction. I like the crowd participation. The one thing I will gripe with the audience about is they don't have any chants of their own. So they're doing all of the overseas chants now, the Ricky Saints. It's like,
Yeah, I heard them doing that. I was
doing
like,
it for
no,
everybody.
it's Cody Rhodes, not Ricky Saint. No,
yeah,
no.
you guys got to start coming up with some chants of your own. We don't need to be having, repeats constantly. And it takes out of it a bit. Yeah, Sith did call it weeks ago that it would be a title match, being the ladder match for the women. So he knew that right off the bat. I wasn't so sure. I one of the ways I thought they were going, they ended up not. But so again, this opening match, some people felt like they rushed into the feud and it's dead in the water. I think this was a good temporary person for him to face. He's a legit contender and an actual challenger, a threat to the title. He's facing Joe Hendry coming up. And, through his heelish, nefarious means, he almost won here. And unfortunately, he came up short. But
you guys going at it with each other.
And again, I people are like, oh, this was a silly feud. No way. It's not a waste. He got to be on Stand and Deliver. He got to go ahead and, that's their WrestleMania. He got a great reaction. Everybody loves him. And would you rather him not be on the card or kind of go into a feud? And the feud makes sense because they even exemplified why they have problems with each other. They explained it best they could by saying these two guys, they worked together outside of the company. It didn't go well. History, long-term booking without long-term booking. Yeah, it kind of fell in their laps. Yes, but the reason it fell in their laps is because of the fumble on the other side.
Yeah,
they opened the opportunity.
Tony fumbled it.
We know it.
And that's when the crowd was chanting, "Thank you, Tony."
Yeah, at the very end. So, and what made me chuckle too is like you see certain people, and Mariah May. You're telling me they have no creative for her at all in AEW? That's why she's able to. Like, I know her goal was to get to WWE, but it's just a bit confounding and a bit astounding as well. We'll go for all the ings. It's baffling, confusing.
All I gotta say is Dynamite this past week was actually pretty decent. I was kind of like, okay.
Yeah, it was okay. There were some things that I liked, but most of it I actually didn't care for, surprising enough. And the week before, when people weren't a fan of certain things, I enjoyed those. So I guess I'm all over the place.
The Ospreay versus the Keshka match was a good one.
That was a banger as well. It's just, again, I just said, oh, Ethan Page and Saints being paired up is kind of a rush thing. And with that, I know it's another tournament match, but I'm tired of AEW's tournament matches. It feels like they've been on a tournament since the summer and they haven't stopped yet. So Because yeah, you're going to get great banger matches, but there's no one to cheer for. You're just cheering for the spots and the
Now you got
moves.
Josh Alexander in AEW, so
And then they beat him on his first night, which isn't a nail in the coffin kill shot there, but
yeah, but
it's
he
certainly
joined
not
Don
great.
Callis on the Collision, so
It was a very, like I said, up and down, certainly not one of my favorites, but I'll tell you what was my favorite. I think the NXT Tag Team Championship match might be the absolute favorite for me of Stand and Deliver.
that match was
This got me so
that match
pumped.
was crazy.
It was great. I mean,
Yeah!
I lost my mind there a little bit when the
Yeah.
victory happened. I was yelling all by my lonesome. Milo was a bit worried, but I was going nuts. They told such a great story, Liz. My God, like from start to damn finish, everything they did was just perfect. Really, genuinely
It was
perfect.
great. I was like going Hank and Tank. Let's go, boys.
They played to all of their strengths, and they basically were giving everyone a, hey, this is what's going on, what's going forward, and this is what's going to happen. And they set it up perfectly. I loved it. They've been having them for weeks now on this journey, Hank and Tank, where they couldn't get the job done. They've been struggling, and they've had main roster members. They've had people from the past. They've gotten advice from everyone, and a lot of bad advice. But it wasn't until the week before with the Dudleys where they're like, just be yourself, just be Hank and Tank. And then they had that great showing in the Gauntlet match. I only wish they didn't have the Gauntlet on SmackDown before, because this, being a few days after, kind of felt like a bit of a repeat since they did the same thing surviving. But this was the better of the two.
Yeah.
I loved how they came across in that Gauntlet match. So strong, not in the physical power, in their teamwork, in their drive, in their goals. It was just great all around. This was their content. This is what was happening. I respect these guys. The match was wild from top to bottom. I love Axiom a lot. I was into A-Kid years ago. Nathan Frazier is going to be a huge star. These guys, I was worried. Do we see a breakup of Fraxium? And none of that. They hugged him at the end. We got the best possible match.
At the end of the match, they were like, and like Axiom like kicked the guy's hand. I was like, wait, are y'all fixing to? I thought they were going to do something there. For a
I
second.
know.
What are y'all getting ready to do?
Keep feeling like I got to sneeze. And then they go ahead and they have the the big hug moment. And I'm like,
yeah, then they hug, and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, whew, I was going to say, I was like, wait, what?
I saw somebody say this on Twitter, so it's not my own thought per se, but I don't know how to exemplify any better than this. Hank and Tank are the epitome of exceeded expectations. You're going to drive me nuts. So they always over-deliver, I feel like. No matter the scenario, you put them in. If you need them to be a good hype team, you've got it. To get the crowd going and open the show. If you need them to be in a main event, they can do that too, and they can take you on an emotional wild ride. They cover all the barriers, all the aspects, and it's like I said, it's not even just all in-ring work. They're relatable, they're fun, but they can get serious. They have great tag team moves. They work so well together because they're hitting off of each other, and I genuinely cannot give them enough credit for this match. I
enjoyed that match. That was great. I was like, yeah, let's go, boys.
Absolutely. It was, like I said, it was just surprising in some ways, and so I'll go back to my original notes here. We start off and 100 miles a minute. Eventually, it slowed down a little bit, but Frazier's doing his jump kicks and being held in place.
I was like, y'all need to slow down here. I can't keep up with all this.
Well, immediately, because Frazier tags in, and then Axiom is using the octopus hold to hold Hank, and then Frazier's doing the jump kick to hit him. Like that's how you start, and it was 100 miles an hour right away. So we see these two, and they're destroying each other piece by piece. Probably one of my favorite moments, and I wish they weren't so quick to strike and litigious, but it's very unfortunate because I'd love to show more of the moments. They went ahead and they did this maneuver where it was a Hurricane Rana to the outside off the apron, and it led to basically Tank going into Hank, and I was like, I don't think I've ever seen it done like that before. Truly, it was badass, for lack
Yep.
of better ways to put it. Truly badass. So you like I said, you see Axiom right there, and it's just the guy doesn't stop for a second. And the Hurricane Rana to the outside was incredible. Frazier basically tags back in, and he hits Hank with a flying axe handle, and then they got the big shooting star standing press there. And it's like, oh, he's running. He's too quick. He's too fast. And much as Hank has strength, maybe they can't keep up with the speed. So they continued telling this and painting this idea and sentiment across the match. It worked great because you never felt like they were totally fucked. You never thought they were screwed, but you really were kind of worried. I was like, I don't think they'll get it. And
Yeah.
oof. So never mind that amazing Hurricane Run to the outside, but Tank goes ahead at one point and he hulks up, as a lack of better explaining, and he starts to just get himself going. And Axiom hits a big flapjack on him, and all of a sudden he hits a big cartwheel clothesline, and then he does the backdrop on Frazier, and I'm like, holy shit. And then when Axiom gets back in, he basically punches Tank in the face, and Tank goes nuts. And when he runs off the ropes and gives him a clothesline, I mean, literally, usually you could use your own momentum to turn yourself inside out, the head over heels. So he hit Axiom so hard with this power up. I'm shocked he didn't shit his pants or at least take himself out of the match. It was incredible. They had a bunch of awesome saves, and there was a huge point in time where outside, after I said that amazing, clothesline had happened, Tank goes ahead and he flapjacks Hank right on top of Frazier, and that's when everyone's like, this is awesome. Again, 2 and maybe 8/10 of the kick out there. So now Tank is holding open the ropes, and Hank crash and burns, so he goes to the outside for the suicide dive.
He crashed and burned on that table. I was
He
like,
hit the announce table again so hard. Now we're getting double holy shit chance, and that's when Axiom takes Tank. So now Hank, like I said, he's halfway to dead, and they do their top rope maneuver. I think it's a top rope total elimination. I always forget the exact name of it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was going to be it. I was like, oh, there we go. He's getting, but no, this is the one that I was not sure entirely of, and they kept me going the entire time. So next you see Frazier, he hits Hank with this big Phoenix splash, and Hank basically broke up the pin and saved it, or that would have been it. So now you got all 4 men in the ring. They're doing their finishers, they're doing one-offs, but Hank ends up tagging in, and he hits Frazier with that sidewalk slam, and then he jumps, runs, and leaps, and he takes out Axiom with the biggest suicide dive. Incredible for Tank's size. And then they both went ahead. They ripped off their shirts. They did the belly bandit squish in the middle, and then they hit Frazier with their high-low, and that was it. I lost my mind. I was so elated for them, and it was... like I said, I can't overstate it enough. I was so excited for them. It was so much of it was a fun match. And like I said, they always manage to exceed expectations. They do. But god damn, did they truly exceed expectations. They didn't make Fraxium look any less. They don't look weak in defeat. They you know what I mean? No one got buried or destroyed here. The massive run that Fraxium had, which was only they had the belts taken away for a week or 2 with Chase U. It was very short.
Yeah, it was real short.
It was only, so I hate to even, yes, it did interrupt their title reign, but basically for the last year and a half, they've had these tag titles on lock and given us pretty much some of the greatest tag team matches. When they do, I'm so thankful they didn't break them up, because they have a great deal of money, honey, on the table for them, and them going up against, you name it, whatever the scenario, sign me up. I can't be more excited. For you, was there any...
One thing they need to go... I'll tell you who needs the tag teams is Raw. Raw needs some tag teams.
Raw does desperately, but I could picture the New Day with the belts as heels going up against these guys, and the reaction I mean, the match they had with the Hardys a few weeks back at Roadblock was incredible, and we saw them lose then, and it didn't hurt them a bit. Yeah, it's like Chewbacca bursting enough. Paul, I know. I was, you know, my Wookiee. If I don't have the dentures, then I could probably do it better, but that's going to take some money to get me with no teeth in the stream. Gummies for days. They blew me away with this match, like I said. And I'm so thankful that these two did not break up. Fraxium stays strong because there was a bit of a will they, won't they. The go home show, you saw Fraxium, you know, they went for the handshake and then Nathan Frazier walked away. Axiom said, oh, don't mind him. And he shook both their hands. But you didn't know if they were setting up the seeds there, like a Stax heel turn that we were going to get.
Yeah.
Or was it just a quick little, you know, something to keep the fans going? That's for sure. So then backstage after the incredible tag team match and new champs, we go ahead and we get Sarah Schreiber. She's got Penn and Teller there. They do a little silly, hey, let's hide Lexus King's cup. It makes Teller appear. Obviously, a little silly trick comes in from behind. But the funny part is, for the rest of the night, he can, or evening, I should say, afternoon. It's only 1 o'clock for them there, almost 2.
Yeah. It's like, it's 1 o'clock here. It's like 10 a.m. there. So.
Yeah, nuts. So they went ahead and made the cup disappear, but throughout the night we saw him still looking for it. It was funny. So
it was hilarious. I was like, oh, they're gonna make it disappear.
I love magic. So honestly, I love magic. This was a lot of fun.
I was wondering. I was like, well, there's Penn. I was like, where's Keller? Oh, never mind.
What do we do next? He appears.
He appears with a geek shirt on.
That definitely had me laughing. So from there,
I wonder if he ever found his cup.
He hadn't yet. So far, last thing on his channel, you know, or Twitter, excuse me, he was looking through and he's still searching for it. Last I had seen.
Oh God.
It has been relinquished and taken away. So I'm telling you. I'm still laughing though, but yeah, it was a funny moment. I love Penn and Teller.
Oh well, I'm browsing Twitter right now, so I'm just seeing if there's any kind of news that we need to talk about. Well, apparently, Michael Cole said on the pre-show, this was 45 minutes ago.
Yeah.
The Rey Mysterio El Grande Americano match could be in flux due to Mysterio's injury last night.
Oh. So, I mean, they can easily have somebody replace him, but
yeah, it's called Ray Phoenix.
Kevin Owens put out a half an hour ago his T-shirt that he would have had for tonight, and he's like, since this shirt will never see the light of day, here's what it was going to be this year, and that just really broke my heart to know that he didn't, you know, he's injured and he's not able to do it. It really is just, it's heartbreaking because whether you're looking forward to the match or not, I don't want him needing surgery, and it's just like, poor guys, being hurt is miserable. I've had the spinal surgery, you know, the fusions and all that. I know how long it takes to go ahead and recover. It's a lot of rehab. So hopefully,
I just saw that picture, by the way. So I just saw
how cool is that shirt?
Oh, there it is.
I wish they would still sell it. You know, even though the match didn't happen, it was scheduled to happen. They could have sold that fine. So Milo might go nuts in a second. I apologize. I think Mommy's home now, so he'll be happy. But
okay.
Granted, I can't say enough good about the tag team match. It was fun having Penn and Teller there afterwards. I forget who was, there was one celebrity that, Chris Angel. They had Chris Angel there last night, I think it was as well, you know, and it was cool to see him with his family. One complaint, what the hell did they do to Thea Hale? So she had Eddie Edwards' theme the other day. I always want to say, I always get his name backwards. I call Eddie Kingston Edwards and Edwards Kingston. I do it all the time, but I got it right this time. I still like the theme they had, but I don't know why they took Crazy away. So I did like the new theme. It fit her. Yeah. And the chorus and all the singing and stuff seemed to catch the crowd, but no one knew it yet. I just don't know why they let her use his theme last week. And maybe it was just, like you said, a one-off and that was that, but
oh God,
I don't know.
Apparently, Tommaso Ciampa shaved his beard off. He looks totally different now.
Really? Oh boy, that's a worrisome thing. I wouldn't know how he'd look.
That was posted on Twitter. That was on Twitter 4 hours ago. I was like, wait, is that Ciampa? What the heck?
Yeah, exactly. I'll have to find it. But we get
It's
into
on his Instagram account as well. So.
yeah. I guess he shaved it in part because of his injury. He had to, so he injured himself, and now he had to shave his beard. Ouch! That is a nasty cut, but he looks crazy different.
Yeah, Ciampa looks a little different without a beard. That long. I got a friend who has a beard, but it was almost like Ciampa's beard. And every time he comes over, I was like, "My God, how can you have all that?" It's like, oh, it just drives me crazy.
Yeah, I need some facial hair, but too much of a good thing is definitely a bad thing.
Oh,
Absolutely.
my friend's he's got it. And I was like, man, at least he trims it. He keeps it trimmed, but my gosh, it's like, shave that goddamn thing off.
Yeah, here he is without the the beard. It's certainly a bizarre look for him. I mean, it's not bad.
Totally different.
It's just it's jarring, definitely, and a little confusing. But did the other one not work right? I guess not. Nah, that's all right. The Twitter machine is not a fan of me, so that's okay. Let's see if I can copy it this way, because that does look brutal. I see why he had to get it done. He went ahead and... I wonder what he got injured from, though. I wonder at what point what happened. I haven't heard that.
He didn't get injured last night, because all they did was take the titles, steal the titles from the Profits. So,
and I don't recall him being shaved last night, right?
No, he had a beard on. He had a beard last night.
So I'm not crazy then. I mean, sometimes I am, but not there.
Well, I think he did. I think he had a beard last night.
Apparently, it doesn't want to show you the injury. It just doesn't like me, but that's all right. I tried. You can see it on Twitter. Granted. From there, as I said, we have the one, the only Thea Hale coming out. She's with Lola Vice, Izzy Dame, Sol Ruka, Zarya, and Kalani Jordan. Only thing I want to note from entrances is that Izzy Dame's entrance is great because of the culling. Yep. I love the writing on the wall, the theme, the look of it, and she's really come into her own since being with these guys and really making an effort of it. I'm genuinely excited to see what they do for her, and so many people said the same thing to me. Same words, too. I got 4 different messages, all said, the future is bright. Everyone agrees. It's exactly what's happening. Things are on an uptick, especially in NXT. And that's, we've had a good run with NXT, obviously. And then when they get to the main roster, that was the issue. But some ships are correcting course. So gladly so far, this show was a complete knockout. They had a lot of pre-rehearsed spots. You could tell things the way they set it up, but pretty much none of it looked to be like you were watching a play. Like everything felt in the moment, and all of some of these moments, holy hell, these girls, they really beat the hell out of each other. So right away, Sol catches Jordan right away with the X Factor. She takes her down, and they all take turns using the ladders like battering rams. Izzy's hitting Zarya with the ladder, and everybody just is getting taken out. Lola has a fury of kicks going out, cracking into everybody. I liked how Kalani did a full split between the 2 ladders at one point. That was a really cool, innovative moment. So then when she was taken off the ladder, you see Zarya catches her, Thea, and Izzy at the same time. So it was like super impressive to see Zarya doing all this. And she used basically the ladder as a helicopter to take everybody down. I'm trying to think, like, some of the big spots in this were really well executed. They set up the ladder like a bridge at one point, and that allowed them to do some pretty fun stuff. Zarya's being choked as she's going for the title. And, you know, we've got Lola Vice with her MMA history. She's trying to go ahead and just squeeze the air out of her opponent. She's got to take Zarya down, and Zarya is slowly fading, but then you kind of see her gently climb back down. And I'm like, oh, it can't be too much of a big bump. She's climbing down. So she goes back, and she basically falls on top of Kalani, and they're sandwiched there. And that is when we go ahead and off the top. Sorry, Kalani's on the turnbuckle. She goes ahead and comes off onto Zarya, who was on top of Lola. That's how it should have gone. Excuse me. So now Zarya gets out of the way, but Lola didn't take much of it. Basically, Kalani Jordan, poor girl, just ate pretty much 3/4 of that move into the ladder herself. Poor girl just really took a beating there. It was bad. Kalani
Hmm.
Jordan should be put in the NXT women's title picture with Stephanie. I agree, Sith, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the tables, ladders, and cake. This was damn good from top to bottom. So Thea Hale, she's trying to go ahead and basically get her chance to come back, and she gets a really big headbutt on Izzy Dame, and then she goes ahead and she gives the world's littlest slam to Lola. Then she hits a big senton. Now she's shaking, doing the warrior thing again. Going nuts, crack cocaine in a can. This girl, damn, is she just so much energy. So she gives Kalani, at first she didn't get her, then she grabs her leg and does a great T-bone suplex backwards to the ladder that is leaning against the turnbuckle. And she ends up climbing up. She grabs the belt, but Izzy ends up nudging the ladder forward, and the ladder, as Vic had said, is warped. It's beaten. It's already kind of flailing about, so it's not super reliable and sturdy. So Thea Hale ends up surviving so far, and she grabs Izzy and she puts her in a Kimura at the very top of the ladder, and then you see her do the snap, and Izzy falls
Yep.
down. Spears goes ahead, and she, sees him, so she kind of like recoils to him and the rest of the culling, and that's when Zarya tilts the ladder and drops Thea Hale all the way up, straight down onto the culling. Incredible spot, really badass. I know it's like a simple thing, but the execution was great. It made sense as to why we had the culling out there at that point in time, and they did such an excellent job throughout not just this match but night, making everyone look great. They put everyone over. No one looked weak in defeat. No one looked like they had no overall purpose, or like they weren't serving for a greater good. Like everybody has something they want to accomplish, not just to win the match, but they have goals set out. They want to be this champion. They want to finish this story. Like there is meat on every bone. And like Booker T said, just meat. So we had to enjoy it. The fans were all about Sol Ruca. They were cheering for her, like just viciously cheering for her at some points. It was incredible. Kalani hits a big frog splash, like I said, while Zarya got out of the way, and ouch, Kalani basically ate all of that, but she was able to not sell it, and she gets back up. They get the other ladder out of there, and now there's no more low bridge, and Sol and Zarya end up climbing up to the top. And at first, Zarya is more reluctant than Sol to fight each other. But then Sol she hauls off with a right, and they're off. They just start slapping and, right hands and forearms. They're going ahead and they're beating each other down. And they're trading punches, and they're just beating the shit out of each other. So now the alliance is no more. They're two against everyone is not happening. And all of a sudden, she does a handstand off of the second to last rung on the ladder to kick Zarya off, like a mule kick. She completely flips up and over. Then, out of nowhere, she jumps off the ladder perfectly, and she hits a goddamn soul snatcher off the ladder on Izzy. Then, she goes off the turnbuckle to hit Lola with one. So she got Lola and Thea. I only thought she was going to get one of them. Then I was like, holy shit, she got them both. A double soul snatcher. She climbs up. She grabs the belt. The crowd erupts. That audio meter hitting 120 decibels at points. We have your new champion. Couldn't be more excited. Sol Ruca
That's
is...
crazy. That Sol Ruca's crazy. I'm like, sheesh.
What were some of your thoughts from this match? I know I was trying to get all the explanation out of the way, but
there was so much going on. I was like, my God, I can't keep up with all you people. Y'all just going all over the place. Sol Ruca, some of the stuff she pulled off in that match was crazy. I was like, how do you pull your ladder like that?
I really couldn't tell you. Like the way she used her core strength before she won the title, she flipped herself back up over the top rung. And we already saw her do the mule kick. Now she flips and folds herself up and over. I'm like, holy shit, girl, go get it.
Yeah. I was just like, yeah, you go. You go, girl. That's great. I would like to know how you do that, but cool.
She's just so impressive, and all of the training is paying off. That's for damn sure.
That soul snatcher move, I was like, yep, you can pull that out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, indeed. Maybe even into somewhere. We went ahead and we've seen a lot of cutters as well. It used to be a super
Yeah.
kick issue. Now everybody's got a ton of cutters.
Now
So,
everyone wants to do cutters.
so long as Soul, and she is absolute money, Paul, you're absolutely correct there. That's a foregone conclusion. That woman's going to be
yeah.
a big deal going forward. Not that I don't want her to have the title here, but I'm not ready to see her and Zarya split at any point. Like, they're a really
Yeah.
great tag team, and there is so much left to offer. You're talking about meat on a bone. We barely scratched the surface of them. That girl, you know, in Sol Ruka, she is white hot, and I almost wish that they were in the tag title picture earlier and they got the tag title belts. And, you know, that would showcase them to show up Raw, SmackDown, wherever. It doesn't have to be a long reign, but I really, again, I'm a fan, not a critic, Triple H, but I am saying I genuinely hope that we don't see this inevitably lead up to a split between these two. I hope Zarya can
Yeah.
support Soul, and I don't want to see any of the backstabbing here. I want to see them support each other because these two can really genuinely be, you know, a trendsetter. I had hoped that they were going to be on the actual WrestleMania card going for the tag titles, and we didn't get
Right.
it, unfortunately. And now we are at least getting the belts defended, but against someone that's the women's, you know, IC champ. So it kind of feels a little ass backwards, if you ask me. But
Yeah, I was kind of like, okay.
you know
I
it.
don't know how that. That's like we obviously know who's going to win that match. But,
Yeah.
I mean,
We know, it seems like, but they could surprise us still. Nothing is set in stone, it seems like.
no, I mean, yeah. If Bailey and Lyra win the tag belts, I will be in shock for sure because that would be something I would not see coming. So,
I certainly don't see that either. That would really feel like, you know, it'd be into somewhere, certainly. So I'm not so
Because,
sure, but
I would much rather see Lyra defend her IC title on Mania than be in a tag match. But okay,
you and me
whatever.
both. Chelsea gets pinned, you know, last night, and why can't she have a match with Zelina Vega? You know, there's a
know.
lot of opportunity for them, and well, you better know,
You got
damn it.
3
What am I
hours
paying
of
you the big
kickoff
bucks
show-
for?
You got 3 hours of a kickoff show for 2 nights. 3 hours of kickoff show. You could have done something on the kickoff show. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, you know, what am I paying you the big bucks in Fortnite currency that doesn't exist? Come on, you're supposed to be on top of these things. John Cena saying, hey guys, tomorrow night, I hope you enjoy tomorrow night because it's going to be my last.
And I really, really hope you enjoy tomorrow night because it's going to be my last one. And in front of a crowd this enthusiastic, I couldn't think of a better way.
So incredible to hear that from him. But it is his last WrestleMania, and John stands on his laurels and morals, and he's basically pretty damn sure of himself. He's confident that this is it. And I know they say never, but John wants to be the first one to go ahead and say, hey, I actually stuck to my word. I went ahead, I retired, and that's all there is to it. I didn't come back.
Shawn Michaels do that? Didn't he stick to his word?
For a long, long time until he didn't. And then he came
Oh, yeah,
back
well.
in Saudi, and it was horrible. So
Oh yeah, that. Oh that. I
Yeah.
forgot. I blocked that. I
that's what
blocked that
you
out of
blocked
my
that for your
Thank
mind, but I didn't. See, I had to bring that nightmare back. And that's why it's interesting because we don't know who we're getting for Randy. You know, so there are possibilities. There is intrigue.
You've already got 7. You got 7 matches for tonight, and you got 7 counting Randy for tomorrow night. So you got 7 matches on both nights.
Yeah,
So
I feel that. I genuinely am, like I said, not fully concerned, but I don't want to see him not stick to his word. It'd be nice to have somebody retire and that be it. And like I said, we don't know who's going to face Randy Orton, but I do like that element of surprise. I mean, a few years back, the surprise we got was Cody freaking Rhodes.
yeah, exactly.
But besides Nick Aldis, who else do you think it could be before we finish the NXT card?
Obviously, it's not going to be Aleister Black.
No. It could be Rusev.
It could be Rusev. I mean, I don't know who else it could be if it's not Nick Aldis and it's not Rusev, who else is there?
Exactly. I mean, there's obviously other people, but not many that make a good deal of sense, unfortunately. So
Unless, like I said earlier, unless Joe Henry shows up and, who knows?
that again would be incredible. Sign me up for that.
I'm
But
just saying it could happen. Who never knows. So
yeah, absolutely. Then we got Tony D and the family, and again,
oh boy.
WWE does great with their video packages and editing. The explanation and revisionist history of this match being
Now,
a little
this
adjusted.
group, are they called the Dark Side or the Dark State? Which one is it?
It's Dark State, but people keep calling them Dark Side, so it is funny.
Okay.
I saw somebody on Twitter that's why I was like, a gime? What's a gime? Oh, a gime for the gym, the old fashioned Homer Simpson line. But yeah, no, a lot of people are just calling it as it is.
The Temu shield. But,
Because it works, it does. And it's so funny, but
to be honest, they're actually not. Actually, they're not that. They're actually pretty good. So,
exactly. That's the thing. So they're not. They initially in the way they were packaged and presented, it was more like, hey, these guys, there's something to look out for, but they're not commanding your attention yet. That changed. Now, because at first it was just the who are they, what are they planning on doing, and then everyone kind of not wrote it off, but it wasn't this big hype moment because people were like, oh, it's just another Shield, 3.0 at this point in time with everything we've had. And that was not the case. They have plans for these guys. I'm actually really interested as well because we saw at the end of the match quite a bit of a surprise, if you can call it that. But I think it was the surprise in execution. So having Stax do what he did and the way he did it is great for the story, but it leaves a few good questions for Tuesday. So we saw, obviously, Tony D, Stax, and Luca Crucifino. They got Rizzo on the outside, taking on Dark State. So they're taking on Lennox, Sugars, and Osiris Griffin. Cutler James is there, but he's on the outside. He gets involved a few times, obviously, but they did a few things here that I really want to make note of. And we saw the ref get involved essentially in the match in the main event with Obafemi as well. But I like the refs commanding authority at times. And like anytime someone went to visibly use a weapon or do something for a DQ, he would get in their face or grab it or physically stop, things from happening. He took the crowbar away from James on the outside. So right away, they're brawling before they can even finish Dark State's introduction. They didn't even announce them fully. And they're saying that, Dion here, he's a big hothead, Mr. Dion Lennox, and he just is here to beat ass. So that's exactly what these guys did. You saw Tony D get surrounded by the four of them before the bell even rang, and he takes out two, but the numbers start to get him, and that's when Stax comes in, and you see Sugars ends up getting a deadlift powerbomb, and Tony tries to punch away, but he can't get it all, so Luca tagged in Stax. The match is on its way. We're actually getting something going on here. And these boys were just out for pain. That one pounce to the outside. So Griffin ends up pouncing Stax as hard as he could into the timekeeper area, up and over. And that was a hard landing for sure. Throughout all of it, Stax was like the fast, high-flying, big risk, but bigger reward, like with his cannonball that he went into Dion. And after Sugar avoided the cannonball, that's how he got being, pounced into the timekeeper's area. So Tony was the muscle of the group, but he was also the elder statesman. He was able to focus and know what needed to happen when. He wasn't allowing his emotions to get the best of him. He wanted to win this match, and he wanted to do it with his plan. Can't argue there at all. Now, they just kept amping it up and amping it up. So after just getting completely destroyed, Rizzo ends up hitting Cutler on the outside with a top rope crossbody. The crowd went nuts for that. Tony suplexes Osiris and got another near fall. There was one pin count towards the end, and before it actually, basically the ref had to stop himself because they kicked out on 3. So it was 1, 2, and the ref pulled off because he got the kick out like a little bit late. Stax ends up going to the outside, and he's like, I got an idea. He comes in with crowbars. And that's when, Tony's like, no, he slaps it away. He's like, we don't need this. Forget it. So he goes ahead and he takes the crowbar and he throws it out to the outside. And you see Stack still has his. And he's holding on to it. And he's just refusing to let it go. And then he goes and Sugars gets up and he ends up cracking him in the head with it. And he almost hit Tony at first. And he was like, oh, so now the referee gets in and they basically have it where the referee is taking away the crowbar and he hands it to the ref. So now Stacks, he's doing the right thing. He gives the crowbar to the referee, turns around. Tony feels like, hey, he's not going to betray me now. I know it. He goes to go and get the win here, and he gets low blowed by Stacks, and the crowd just comes unglued. The loudest "fuck you, Stacks" chant. I gotta get that cap for some, some clips. But well earned to hear them.
I like it. Oh yeah, man.
So I was not surprised.
I saw that coming. I saw that coming anyway. I was like.
I did.
Last week? Was it last week or whatever week it was? Yeah, I was like, yeah, he's gonna turn.
It seemed like, again, my favorite. I got to make it into a Banana Club shirt. Foregone conclusion. I knew that they were going to lose, that Tony D and the family had to go down, and Stacks was going to interfere. But I incorrectly assumed that Stacks would be maybe not the leader, but involved with Dark State. Now, that still could happen. We don't know. It is a possibility. We do not know. But it seems like he just turned because he felt like Tony was undermining him. He's just had enough, and he doesn't want to feel like he's the number 2 guy anymore. Tony keeps what he feels is undermining his ideas and thoughts, and really he's going and undermining Tony's authority. But now Stacks at the very end of the show, you see him run into his car, and he gets in the car, and while he's being interviewed by Sarah quickly, he sees Luca, and Luca says, "What? We're supposed to be a family. What are you doing? You're breaking Rizzo's heart. You're making her cry. You're making her cry, Stacks." Mm-hmm. So Stacks goes ahead and he's like, "Hey, keep your phone on you. I'll explain it all to you, but you got to give me time, and I'll see you Tuesday." So Mr. Channing Lorenzo Stacks, he's a bad guy, and we got to see what they would say. This was a very fun match, and it was a great, I don't want to say like low key, it still had hype and energy to it. And the live crowd ate it up in every way possible, but it wasn't must see either. It was damn good, but it was very well needed because it wasn't a rest spot, but it was a kind of a small cool down before we got into the dual main event. So they did a great job here. The emotional roller coaster they took fans on, whether you knew it was coming or not, was excellent. And it was fun. That's really what I have to say. It was a fun match. Dark State are sadistically evil bastards. They're going to leave one hell of a blood-stained trail behind them. And their team moves, as you would say, like the combination finishers and whatnot, the throne, power bomb and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
All of that is looks incredible, and I don't see them as the Shield. No. Basically, this could be, I don't want more titles. But this could be a trios type thing if they really needed to. That was a rumor forever and a day ago. They wanted to add trios belts to NXT. I don't want them to, granted, but I can see it being that type of group. These guys have their money. They're going to be absolutely big. And if they keep putting them over and making them a threat, now, what you kind of see is, too, Tony had more expertise, more wisdom. He's got the history, all of that, years in the ring. These guys are new as far as, the ID sense goes. So you saw moments where Tony could have won. Right before he got taken out, he got the sidewalk slam, and his finishers were laid in thick. They had moments of, hey, the Elder's going to go ahead and come out on top. Unfortunately, as you know, if it wasn't for Stacks, this probably would have been an easy win for the family.
Nope, didn't work out that way.
No, unfortunately not. But what did work was Booker T's heart. I thought he was going to die in the next match because the face fucking finale 3 times from Stephanie Becour, and she got 2 5 counts. You know, I agree with you, Sid.
I
Hell
was
no.
like, oh my God, Booker, geez, calm down, bro.
Absolutely. He was going nuts. I agree with
I was
Sid
like,
there entirely
I
because
was like, Booker, Lord mercy, my man.
we don't need any more belts. But yeah, he was going nuts. He was nuts, pun intended. So we have the champion, Stephanie Becker, taking on Julia, Jada Parker, and Jordan Grace. Don't ask me what kind of accent that was, but the NXT Women's Championship is on the line, and this match again exceeded. I can't even say exceeded. It met all my expectations. They did a great job at making everybody look again very strong and dominant, and the way they had the finish happen was very intelligent because, like, you know, dominoes falling, everything lined up perfectly, and it was all about the ultimate opportunist getting the best advantage in that time frame. You know, she got barely, but she got the spinal tap or spiral tap. Or I thought it was a spinal tap, spiral tap, and she takes out Parker with the big knee to the back. She almost didn't make it either. It was crazy. She really the first time struggled.
Yeah, that was kind of close. I was kind of like,
I don't know if she was selling or if it was legitimately something that she struggled with, but either which way, it only made it seem like more of like out of desperation, she's got to get this done. I know I skipped ahead to the end, but I wanted to make that point quickly. They started off white hot. You know, we had a big brawl, and Grace is just beating ass, suplexing everybody. She drags Julia up to the top, and eventually Vacour breaks things up, and then they're all trading strikes, and that's when Julia gives Grace a double toe hold and a double drop kick, and then you saw eventually like they had this triple submission going on. That looked great.
that was insane. I was kind of like, how are you going to keep up with that?
Yeah, they really, you know, that was a bit later. My notes again, I said are all over the place, but they really managed to just. It was very innovative. So it was like they were all
something I've never seen before. I was kind of like, so you got you in this hole and you're in this hole.
Exactly.
Like,
having them again, that sense of realism. You didn't have to suspend disbelief. You were just able to follow everything, and it felt natural. So basically, Jada hits Stephanie with the Falcon Arrow. That's I think the pinfall I'm thinking of. No, it was when later on when Stephanie's pinning Jada actually, Jada basically kicked out on 3, and the ref stopped counting. So that was like right there. That was basically when she gave her the back fist and the Grace driver, and then all of a sudden, you know, Jada breaks it up and she gets the hip attack on Grace. Julia comes in and she hits Jada, and then that's when Julia rolled her up and she got her, and that was like a 3 count. Really, if the ref didn't pull off, she kicked out exactly at 2.999 tenths. You know, if you want to consider it that. But from there, Stephanie comes in and she just tears it up. She hits, as I said, Jada with the spiral tap, and that was it. She got the victory. It was like a 17-minute match almost. My timing was a little off. It was like 16:40, I think.
Yep.
A lot of fun.
That match was great. I mean, the thing is, when you got 4 people going at it, it's hard to keep up with what everybody's doing. I was like watching it.
Yeah. See,
okay.
As much as it could be a car crash at times, I think it was beautifully directed chaos. They managed to do it in a way.
There was definitely chaos.
Yes,
that's for sure.
But I didn't feel like I was lost personally at any point in time, because like Parker, Jada's out there and she's hitting Stephanie with the pin after she does that like belly to back suplex, and that's when Julia runs in and she hits her with the knee. And then that's when Grace comes in and she takes Jada, throws her to the outside. So now Julia then hits Parker with all those, you know, crazy strikes. And then she hits her with a knee back in the ring and gets a near fall. So it was just one after the other, after the other, after the other. And it was pretty crazy. Hey, Paul, so we got some breaking news. WWE just acquired AAA. Oh, wow. If that's true, that's incredible.
Oh, really? I haven't seen that.
WWE NXT crossing with AAA Worlds Collide set for June 7th at the Kia Forum in Inglewood, California. Wow.
Well, alrighty then.
The report states that the planned co-promoted event from WWE, NXT, and AAA will emanate from the Kia Forum in Inglewood, California on June 7th. No other details are available at this time. That is great news. Tony's not going to be a happy camper, I don't think. I mean, he's having a hard go of it, and can't really say I blame him there. You know, this is stuff that you messed up on, and that's how it works, pretty much. This
Yeah.
is going to be a very even if it's not like, oh my God, everybody's oohing and eyeing over AAA. It just shows that they're willing to work, and they're willing to now work with other companies and have these things happen where it is this big to do.
Yep.
And
Triple H is cooking.
he is indeed. So now having this announced, thank you, Paul, for letting me know that. That is a massive bit of news there.
Yeah. Speaking of Triple H, apparently his speech at the Hall of Fame last night lasted an hour.
I heard it was a very lengthy speech indeed. So we'll see what happens coming of it. But yeah, wow, that is some crazy news there.
I was looking at some pictures of the people in the crowd, and half of them were some people were already falling asleep. So I was kind of like, oh God.
Yeah, I believe it, because people were going for hours there, essentially. It was not
He had 3 hours of SmackDown, then he had the Hall of Fame, and that lasted 3 hours or longer. So
that's I'm going to be catching up. We're getting out of here shortly, and we'll be catching up with that. Before our review tonight, I will have the former legend himself, the former OK Fabe. That's right, Connor will be joining me once again.
You're talking about me. I was kidding.
You, my friend, we've got big plans too still. I appreciate you jumping up on this one for me as well.
Hey, no problem. I had time to kill. I mean, like I said, my friend's not here. My friend's not going to get here till like 6 o'clock or after.
It worked perfect. That's why I was so thrilled to have you on. I felt bad that we didn't get to go ahead.
And of course he's gonna watch. He's gonna be up here for Mania tonight, and then he's gonna go home tomorrow morning and come back up here.
Come back up later.
Come back up tomorrow afternoon for the rest of it. So.
Smart. That's the way to do it.
He has to go back home for Easter. He has Easter stuff he's got to do tomorrow with his family.
That's why I celebrated Easter on Friday. I tried to get all that out of the way. And Sith, you're so right.
He has to go to church. He's a church. He has to go to church every Sunday. So.
Well, hey, you got to get in there and worship the Lord. Make yourself have a little bit of a nice day.
In other words, he's going to have me up at the crack of dawn tomorrow so he can leave to go home.
Yep, of course.
Great.
Hey, it's worth it, though. It's Mania. And Sith said you knew it was only a matter of time until WWE partnered with AAA to counter AEW and CMLL. Absolutely. Yep. And we're seeing it more and more. Oh, it is time to do drugs tonight. Everybody's going to be drinking and having a great time. We'll be hanging out with the live review tonight. So make sure you're subscribed, hitting the like button, hit that bell. And for those of you over on Rumble, hi, you sexy bastards. Join the Banana Club. You want to go ahead and be a member, make sure you follow us there.
That's going to be good because you're going to open up with the Jey Uso and the Gunther match. So,
I know. Having that kick off is a great idea. I'm very excited.
And whoever comes on after that match, I feel sorry. I feel kind of bad because, you're going to have to follow up with that. So.
Again, yeah. I mean, it's all a matter of seeing what they do, but yeet. Milo, like I said, did not want to see him lose. He's very worried. He wants to see him win. So hopefully that won't be the issue.
I got a friend coming tomorrow night. He's a big Gunther fan.
Yeah.
And I've been teasing him for the last 2 or 3 weeks on. I keep sending me all these texts going, yeet, yeet. He's like, stop it. I'm like, no.
Oh, good news too. Sorry, you got me laughing, but Rey Mysterio is there, Paul said. And yeah, Seth, I'll touch on that. And it really should be their own forbidden door. This was Milo, like I said. We got Simba with the glasses, but he was very excited. So Milo's ready to go. He wants to go ahead and have Jey Uso. Really, the main event, Jey Uso.
With the glasses on.
Yeah.
Of course, he wasn't doing anything. He was just sitting. He was just laying there. And I was like, God dang it! I gotta make the thing go like he's doing the thing.
But Itchy's so adorable, and we gotta go ahead and Itchy's he's the handsome man. Yeah, here's Milo.
It's just me, okay. Day one, it's just me, Day one, it's just me, okay. Day one, it's a lot of more love and knock 'em down like
ready.
It's on me now.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Milo hates it. He'll start barking, and Milo comes over and bats the hell out of him. But You know, they're real siblings. They
My
pick on
cat,
each other.
he's upstairs chilling upstairs in the bedroom. So
So he's ready for Mania. Then he's getting all his beauty rest in
no,
now.
as soon as my friend comes over, he's probably gonna be hiding under the bed all night. So
Probably might go and hide somewhere. You know, go ahead. And he's like, who's invading my throne?
well, yeah, a couple of years ago, I had like 2 or 3 people over here, and I figured he was upstairs under the bed, and I went upstairs to check on him. He was literally in the closet hiding.
A big scaredy cat. You know.
Yeah.
Well, he's always so cute, though. Speaking of, you know, hiding, I think maybe Javon after this one might want to hide for a little bit till he heals, because damn, did he get like beat like hitting like a truck by Obafemi at certain points.
Good Lord, that guy, I couldn't keep up with all the stuff he was doing. I was like, good
He
grief.
is
I was like, man.
super fast, super athletic, super young as well. So you know he's got a whole lifespan of time in front of him. I mean,
I didn't realize how young he was. I was like, he's 20 freaking years old.
yeah, I thought he was going to be closer to like 22. I keep forgetting that he's only 20. It just doesn't sink in. And you figure with not, you know, lack of experience, but he certainly doesn't have a long anything under his belt. So
No.
it's crazy to see how well he kept up and maintained. And now they're showing AAA and NXT join forces, obviously, but they're showing Rey Mysterio talking about it, all the luchadors. I would show the clip, but they would probably destroy the video. So sad that
Yeah.
you're playing their commercials, their promotional material. You're promoting their show, and they want to, you know, I could see if anyone uploads entire matches and whatnot, but to have just a little bit of, you know, a little bit of promotion,
Yeah,
you figure they'd want to.
don't risk it, man.
They were mad at me over a simple intro that I put together. Never mind that. But one thing I'm not mad over is this main event. I was a bit surprised too.
It was a 10 out of 10. I mean, I was just like,
Close to it. Absolutely.
I was just like, you know, just keep doing what you're doing.
Sorry, as my stomach empties, I had to go ahead and keep that off camera. No one wants to watch me vomit. So, excuse me. Maybe there's a little bit left. Ova and Trick, right away, they blocked the double RKO that Evans hit him before, but don't despair. Au contraire, he will hit it eventually. So we go ahead.
Javon Evans.
Sorry, I'm hiccuping over here.
Things he did in that match, I was like going, what the heck was that?
There is a replacement. It's Rey Fenix versus El Grande Americano.
That's called that.
Massive. You nailed that.
Rey Fenix.
You said that. You said that originally too. So
yeah.
Damn. I should have bet on you. Oh Jesus, excuse me. I'm dying over here. So.
Well, see, I was kind of like, well, why is Rey Fenix getting involved with El Grande Americano or whatever, you know? And then Rey got, and then the match last night they had, it's like, where the heck did Rey Mysterio go?
So it was smart the way they did it, knowing like, hey, send him back out there and we can make a story out of it. If it wasn't already planned, awesome. Oh, sorry, excuse me.
Now you got Penta and Rey Phoenix.
Yeah, you got both sides of it. Awesome. So excited for that. I wish Aleister Black was going to be on the show too, but beggars can't be choosers.
No, you gotta wait till Friday. You gotta wait till next Friday for that.
I know, it's not too far away. He was just one I remember if I was showing you Tommy End videos, you know, like 10 years ago. And then
I was actually, you know, the thing is with Aleister Black, when he debuted, I think this was when he debuted. That was in what, 2017?
Ish, 16, 17.
I saw it.
Yeah, you were there for it.
I was there live when he showed up on Raw.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, old man Mysterio said, "Get off my yard." Yeah, no kidding, Coot.
And he had the coolest entrance ever back then. I was just like, when he came up out of the ground and all that stuff. I was like, yeah. So
right off the bat, in this main event, you saw, like I said, they stuffed the double RKO attempt, but then you get Evans rolling up Trick. He gets that roll up pin, and it was close. So then they take each other out with like dual stereo drop kicks. They are literally just, you know, mimicking each other. And then they both do the kip up. I was like, in stereo, we're available. Thank you very much. I'll take more of that. Javon started and did not stop. He sold much better than he does usually. He's not the best at selling at times. He'll do the quick, and then he'll just go right back into full force. Today, he really, really went ahead and made sure to state each bit of pain and every obstacle he had to climb and endure. This man did it. This boy, I should say. You know, he's 20, as you mentioned before. Oba lifts up Evans and Trick, both of them, with a huge double Samoan drop. That was great. There was one point where Obafemi gets hit by the the RKO, basically. He just gets completely taken out by the top rope. Well, no, first he gets the regular cutter, then he gets the top rope cutter, and he ends up kicking out at one, basically, by choking the hell out of Javon and standing up. So it wasn't a no-sell, but he got the kick out at one by grabbing him by the throat. And he goes to go ahead and take him out there, but Javon gets out of it. And like I said, there was just so much back and forth, so fast, so much happening. The crowd at this point in time are chanting "Fight forever." One time when Trick slammed Oba, he goes over to Evans and he's like, "That's how a grown-ass man does it." Funny shit there. The Tower of Doom spot was great that we got. Like, I keep saying great, but it was. I'm pulling the Tony Khan here. Ding. It was great.
The Tower of Doom spot was crazy. I was kind of like, because you had Oba and then you had Trick, and then Trick gets Javon off the turnbuckle and holds him up in the air. I'm like,
yeah.
Dang, man.
So like I said, he gets him, he tries to body slam Oba. Oba tries to body slam Evans, and then Javon goes ahead and he hits him with the springboard RKO, and then he does it off the top rope. But Trick drags the referee out and knocks him out. So now our first ref bump there, he's taken down. And that's when Javon does a huge dive to the outside and takes out Trick. Eventually, Javon dumps Oba to ringside, and now they're fighting by the announce table. And that's when Oba just picks up Javon and slammed the wind out of his body into the timekeeper area, which we saw before. That looked like it hurt like hell. Ow, Jesus, you saw him like at one point. Then, and it could be selling again, or that just fucking hurt. I'm sure with Oba, that just hurt. Trick basically, it takes advantage of Evans being taken out. So he gives Oba a big bookend through the announce table. Come on. How could you not pop for that? That looked amazing. And then, lo and behold, I thought at one point Javon might get it. They did an amazing sell here. So when they get back in the ring, Trick catches Javon with the trick shot knee. And that's when Oba tries to get the referee, but the referee is basically kicked Oba for the anti-ref bump. It was hilarious at this point. So Trick's got the pin, and the referee's trying to climb back into the ring, and Obafemi just grabs him. And as he's just clawing on the mat and trying to advance even inches forward, Obafemi's holding on to him. And you see the ref, just like I said before, with the mule kick. He hauls off, and a big kick comes out of him. I love seeing the ref being like, "Fuck you, I need to count that pin. I got to do my job. Get off me."
The ref, I was like, "Go ref!"
Now, there is no disqualification, but with the triple threat, but I really like the spot and the fact that he could get his hands on the ref. So because of this, Oba jumps down. He breaks up the pinfall because it looked like Trick was going to win still. The crowd could have chanted to 1,000,000 at that point in time, it felt like. Yep. So now Oba and Trick get up, and Javon runs, and he gets the double RKO again. And then he is about to line up for another, but Trick, out of nowhere, he hits Javon with the trick knee, or the trick shot. And that's when Obafemi is, now that Trick's done for, Javon's down. Oba picks up and power bombs Trick onto Javon.
Yep.
How it didn't break his ribs, I don't know. It was a safe landing, honestly, a worked landing, but god damn.
I tell you, Obafemi is I'm like, that guy, oh boy.
Now, as where AEW might give us 30-minute matches like we saw with Kenny and, these type of things lately, or Ospreay and Takeshita, and this was like shy of 18 minutes, I believe, somewhere around there. Great match. Everything we saw tonight, there are so many avenues and angles and ways to go from
You know,
here.
it's
It
kind of
branches
crazy
the
that
story.
Obafemi is a big guy.
Oh,
I
that,
mean,
like I said, more me, as Booker would say. But
and he went to college. He went to the University of Alabama, and he actually did. What was that track and field event he did? Was it discus or shot put or one of
something
those
like that.
crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta have a lot of strength to like do that stuff. I'm like,
Yeah. We didn't get as we had hoped on the TNA side of things. We were hoping that we got, obviously anything to kind of honor Chris Bay to see if his partner would go ahead and get the win. That didn't happen. They gave it to Steve Macklin. I mean, he's not a bad first international champ, but that's not how I would have gone with it.
what that international belt they got is pretty
That is a gorgeous belt. And what kills me though is, like I said, they're building. So you have Ethan Page going ahead and taking on, Joe Hendry for the title. And there are a lot of like big matches coming. It just sucks that Page had to lose here. Again, he didn't look bad in defeat. But the one thing I will say about all of the night tonight is that everyone was built in a proper direction. Everybody has somewhere or something to go with. Trick didn't win. Yep. He desperately needs to be called up. Same with a few of the ladies. And then on top of it,
Trick needs to go. He needs to get out of NXT.
Yeah, I think, I don't want to say overstayed his welcome, but it kind of feels like that at this point.
I was going to say that, but
in a way, I mean, you're not wrong. So it is.
He should have been called up a long time ago, but.
Granted, I like what they did. They had, he was main eventing last year, seeing deliver to get the title. Now he was in the main event this year. Now we're getting this Tuesday, Stephanie versus Roxanne Perez. So Roxy's getting.
That was on Twitter. That all went down on Twitter.
Yes,
so.
And then we're getting Liv Morgan and Raquel, as we knew, or Bailey and Lyra taking on Gigi and Tatum. It's most likely going to be Liv and Raquel, I think, and they also have an NXT Women's Championship match. They said that it'll be held on Tuesday, that there's going to be, they basically said there is going to be a title defense. So we'll see Sol Ruka defending her title as well. I try not to give things, number scores anymore because it's all subjective and to everybody. Basically what I go for is, would I recommend this? Absolutely.
Totally recommend it. Highly recommend it.
Yes, there's not even a match I would say, hey, you need to skip or you could bypass or you can get away with not watching.
They were all great. I enjoyed watching all of them.
Yeah, it was a great way. It was great. I know that's such like a bland way to put it, but
I kind of missed the beginning of the kickoff match because I was trying to get my microwave cleaned out. But I wasn't expecting there to be a match. I was just like, I just had it on in the background, listening to what they were talking about.
You were used to.
Like, well, here we go.
Yeah, you were used to the real original format, where they haven't had matches in forever.
Wait. I was like, wait. Well, luckily, my kitchen and my living area is like right next to each other, so it's not like I could hear it. So
yeah, I mean that's crazy that Rey Mysterio's out now, so we got to get Rey Fénix in. Wow, I'm truly pumped. That's shockingly incredible.
Fénix versus El Grande Americano. Oh boy.
And WWE said they officially acquired AAA. So it's not like they're working with them. They have bought AAA.
They bought it. Okay.
Yeah, they acquired right here. I'm gonna play a little bit of it.
Some of the top business leaders in the world. I am flanked by some of the
That's
top
huge news.
Okay, we should be back. I apologize. There was a hiccup. Yeah, XSplit wanted to die on me today, so it's okay. I've learned how to go ahead and how to survive some fun stuff. So we lose a little momentum, but people are still able to see. So I appreciate you guys. Hey, it happens to the best of us, but at least we're able to go ahead and fix it quickly. I've learned how to recover, Liz. I've learned how to fix things. Who would have thunk it?
Well, that's great. It's good you learn how to fix things. But I mean, XSplit. I've never used XSplit. So
the only reason I have XSplit is because I ended up getting multiple years of the premium from them. So
Streamlabs has a I don't pay for Streamlabs. I use the free stuff, but you can pay for it. It's because they got some kind of premium thing too. So
yeah, well, see, I need it because if you don't have the premium, you can only have 3 scenes, and we switch through enough stuff. So crazy that
Streamlabs you can have. I think with Streamlabs you can have as much stuff as you want to have on Streamlabs. So
Well, you're limited for scenes and transitions, actually. So that was my.
oh, I don't have that many. I don't have that many trans. I don't have that many trans. So it's like I have a starting soon screen of my live scene, and then my BRB screen, and then my end screen, and that's all I got.
No, I got more than that. So, but yeah, it is a bit alarming that they bought AAA. Like that's not what I was expecting to hear. I figured they were going to work with.
Well, I thought they were just going to have like a partner thing.
Yeah, a big partnership. Them buying it is a bit concerning. This WrestleMania stage, though, looks incredible.
The WrestleMania stage is crazy.
I cannot get over how amazing that looks, and I'm very pumped for tonight. Now, I appreciate you being here.
The question is, does Jay come out of the stage or does he come out through the crowd?
I think he's coming through the crowd. I think it has to happen. Absolutely.
If you look on Twitter, I don't know who posted it, but I think it was Tops posted a picture of Jay in his ring gear pants with that patch they have to wear.
Yeah.
His ring gear pants, they look sweet.
Yeah, they
cool.
look great. And like I said, I'm very excited to see what we get for tonight. There's a lot of what ifs. We don't know, Randy Orton, who's he facing, when, where, why, how. There's possibilities there. I think that's night 2 though. So
yeah, Randy Orton's night 2. Randy Orton's tomorrow night.
We'll see what comes of it with that. But all in all, like I said, if I was to give today a score, it'd be an easy 9. Maybe even 9. Yeah, easily. Absolutely a 9. Everything they gave us has just been exciting. It's been fun. Sol Ruka is also the current speed champion. Funny she didn't come out with her belt, but it's a lot of the stuff I'm seeing, people are super excited and ready to go for night 1. Is the price of betrayal?
I think a lot of people are excited now to see Ray Phoenix.
Absolutely. Is the price of betrayal truly worth it? Is it worth its weight in gold, or are we going to get absolutely nothing at all with John Cena tomorrow night? We'll find out with that. I mean, buddy, it's been a build, for better or for worse. It's been a build, and we've had this going on now for some weeks, and unfortunately, it was a bit of a slog at times, but we've made it. We're here. No Rock, no Travis Scott. That's okay. We don't need them.
I actually follow JD from New York on Twitter, and he actually posted on here, one company is playing chess and the other is playing checkers.
He's not wrong though. I talked to him earlier.
He's not wrong.
Him and I were going back and forth, and I told him to have a great Mania week. He's been very nice and polite and cordial with me. So
I watched. He did a round table discussion, WrestleMania discussion.
Yeah, similar to what we ran the week before.
Yeah, it was him and Santi Zap and
in Chi-Town. He's cool, but
Chi-Town Smart,
I didn't know the other guy. Yeah, I didn't know the other one, but that's all right.
But I'll actually watch some of that. I was kind of like, you know what? JD's actually, that bad.
Yes, it's cool to see everybody doing well. That's all I wanted. So, granted, I appreciate you guys.
I met JD back a few years ago.
33, right? When you met him down there for the.
Yeah. That's when I met Joe.
Yeah, you met everybody. Him, Joe, Steven Larson were there. Grim. It was so funny because I watched Locale Live. So I've been a big fan of Wings of Redemption and Boogie 2988 for years now. I used to watch Drama Alert with Keemstar. So when they branched off, him as well. So years ago, they kind of were doing nothing great, and Keem had an idea to turn it into a podcast, so they call it Locale Live. And recently, Grim's been involved on a couple of the episodes here or there, and it was not shocking because him and Kid behind the camera are very close, but it was funny to see him involved in that universe where he wasn't before. So interesting.
One thing, Grim back then compared to what he looks like now, Grim now looks a lot. He's
crazy
lost a lot
difference.
Of weight.
Absolutely, him and I can agree. I'm all saggy skin now myself. It's I got stretchy skin that they won't cut off, but the rest of it.
JD is a guy
that. There we go.
I like JD. Oh, look at that, man.
I got arms like tree trunks. It's just the muscles there behind all the stretchy skin.
Well, JD is an Atlanta Braves fan like me, so we have to,
That gives you a few extra points for him, absolutely. Any other takeaways from Stand and Deliver List?
He lives in New York. He lives in New York, and he's a Braves fan. I'm just like, that's wild.
Well, you know what it is? New England fans, we're kind of in New York. You have a couple of options. You don't have one team, so you kind of get like this. weird, unfair judgment / bias towards people. So it's like, oh, you don't like the Mets? Oh, you don't like the Yankees? And you get pigeonholed and marginalized into like one of the two. So a lot of, you know, New Yorkers you tend to see branch elsewhere. Connecticut, we have no team. So we literally go ahead and it's like, hey, crapshoot, did you like somebody growing up or is there somebody somewhat local that you enjoy?
Yeah,
But
I mean, yeah, it's just like where I live. I mean, Atlanta's 2 hours away from here, so you
yeah,
know,
not far at all.
I grew up watching the Braves games on TV. So
It is
you know,
funny that's who he gravitated towards, but I'm telling you, thank you so much for joining us. Any other comments about Stand and Deliver before we get out of here and get prepared for night 1 of WrestleMania?
yeah, I gotta get some dinner here soon, and you know,
That's a
gotta
must-have.
get ready,
I
get
gotta,
ready to eat.
I gotta go ahead and place an order with the delivery, you know, the liquor store, the pizza place, and no, I'm kidding, but we got to get ourselves pumped and ready to go. It's gonna be a hell of a night. I'm excited,
Get
Liz.
sunglasses on.
Exactly. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with us. Like I said, I really can't say that enough. It's been a great time, a lot of fun.
No problem, man.
I'm glad I got to go ahead and catch you at some point. It felt terrible we didn't get to meet the other day,
Hey,
but
you know what? Life happens.
It
Stuff
does.
happens, so.
But thank you to everybody in the chat. Make sure you're following all our social. Follow me on Twitter as well. Thank you for hanging out. We are going to be live for night 1 of WrestleMania shortly. Sith says they might rebrand NXT to NXT Mexico for AAA. That wouldn't be the worst idea. I just hope they can actually stand to do it in such a way that's worthwhile and actually credible. So we'll see what comes of it. But I'm excited for tonight. I'm getting pumped. You know, heel Cena, is he going to take the title from Cody tomorrow? We don't know. Is Paul Heyman going to side with Seth Rollins tonight for the main event?
He is.
Seems to be the case. You know, we're not sure,
Well,
but
I can tell you one thing: Seth and Paul were sitting together last night at the Hall of Fame.
that
so
they were.
just, you know,
They don't do anything not intentional. They're laying it on thick. Stone Cold and Brett. You know,
of
there's
course,
a.
and of course, Seth Rollins on SmackDown last night was like, "This is not a prediction; it's
a spoiler." So that's a brilliant move to do. Liz, tell the people where they can find you, please.
Oh, you guys can find me on Twitch, DJ Anime 2016 on Twitch and on YouTube. But YouTube, I don't really do much on there, but I do post all my VODs for my streams on there, so you can find those there as well.
That's right. I just put it in the description box down below and in the chat. You guys can go ahead and check that out.
So if you are into the video game stuff, then stop by stream sometime.
Then Liz
Say
is your
hello.
girl. Absolutely. You always have a very fun and enjoyable, you know,
We
audience.
talk about wrestling in my streams all the time because I got a lot of people in my stream that are wrestling fans. So we've talked about Mania for the whole, like, the last 2 weeks.
Absolutely. So it's been a lot of fun and we've had a great time over there. So thank you so much again for joining us. Guys, we'll be live tonight. We'll be having our full review for night 1 of WrestleMania. We'll be live again tomorrow, late morning, early afternoon for our cup of coffee / what's going on wrestling stream for Into Somewhere Weekly. And then tomorrow night, of course, I'll be with the one and only Spaz Phoenix and OKFabe for our live review. We'll be taking viewer calls. We'll be having a great time on Discord. So make sure you go ahead and if you want to be involved, send me a friend request on Discord.
I'm doing Discord tomorrow, Sunday
Yeah,
night.
at Countdown Ended. So go ahead and add me there. Thank you all. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're following. Hit the like button. And thank you so much for hanging out. Everybody, it's WrestleMania. Stand and Deliver was a
Mania
damn
time,
great
folks.
show.
Let's go.
Yeet. That's right.
Yeet.
I like it. Oh, yeah, man.
Everybody have a great rest of your afternoon, evening, and I'll see you all in a little while. Stay sexy. Thank you, Liz.
You're welcome.